The rain was coming down in sheets as I pulled into the driveway of our house in Seattle. It was a Tuesday, and I was coming home early from a business trip to Portland. A client meeting had wrapped up sooner than expected, and I decided to surprise Gemma. I'm Eamon, 44, and I work as a software architect. Gemma and I have been married for 15 years. We have a comfortable life, a nice house, and what I thought was a solid relationship. I let myself in, the house quiet and dimly lit. Gemma, I called out, expecting her to be in her home office, working on one of her freelance writing projects. No answer. I walked through the living room, past the family photos on the mantelpiece, each one a reminder of happy times, vacations, anniversaries. Now they felt like a cruel mockery. I headed towards the kitchen, intending to make myself a cup of tea before settling in to wait for Gemma. As I passed our bedroom, I heard muffled sounds. At first I thought it was the TV, but then I realized it was something else. A rhythmic creaking, soft moans. Sounds that were unmistakably coming from my own bed. My heart hammered in my chest. I stood frozen, disbelief warring with a sickening wave of nausea. I couldn't possibly be hearing what I thought I was hearing. Gemma wouldn't do that to me. Would she? I crept closer to the door, my hand trembling as I reached for the handle. I pushed it open slowly, just a crack, and peered inside. The scene that unfolded before my eyes shattered my world. Gemma was in our bed, naked, with a man I didn't recognize. He was younger, athletic-looking, with dark hair and a smug expression on his face. They were both completely absorbed in their act, oblivious to everything else. I stood there, paralyzed for what felt like an eternity. The blood drained from my face, my hands clenched into fists. The air in my lungs seemed to disappear, replaced by a suffocating pain that threatened to crush me. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I slammed the door open, the sound echoing through the house. "Gemma!" I roared, my voice raw with pain and fury. They both jumped, startled. Gemma's face contorted in a mixture of shock and guilt. The man quickly scrambled out of bed, grabbing his clothes and trying to cover himself. "Eamon, what are you doing here?" Gemma stammered, her eyes wide with panic. "What am I doing here? What are you doing here, Gemma? In our bed, with him?" I gestured wildly at the stranger, my voice shaking with rage. "It's not what it looks like," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "Oh, really? Because it looks exactly like you're having an affair in our bed. Is that not what's happening?" The man, now partially dressed, stepped forward. "Look, buddy, this is between Gemma and you. I should probably go. Yes, you should probably go," I snarled, taking a step towards him. "And if I ever see you again, I'll make you regret the day you were born." He didn't need any further encouragement. He grabbed his remaining clothes and bolted out of the room, disappearing down the stairs. I turned back to Gemma, who was now sitting on the edge of the bed, tears streaming down her face. "How could you do this to me, Gemma? After all these years, I don't know," she sobbed. "It just happened, it just happened. You think that's an excuse? You think that makes it okay?" I ran a hand through my hair, trying to make sense of the chaos that had suddenly engulfed my life. "Who is he, Gemma? Do I even know him?" She hesitated for a moment, then said, He's a trainer at the gym I go to. His name is Corbin, a trainer at the gym. So this has been going on for a while, hasn't it?" She didn't answer, but her silence was confirmation enough. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. "I can't believe this, Gemma. I truly can't. I thought we were happy. I thought we had something special. We do, Eamon, we do. This was a mistake. It didn't mean anything." "A mistake? It didn't mean anything. You were in our bed, Gemma. That's not a mistake. That's a deliberate act of betrayal." I couldn't stand to look at her any longer. I turned and walked out of the room, slamming the door behind me. I went downstairs, grabbed my suitcase, and threw some clothes into it. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I couldn't stay there, not for another minute. As I was heading out the door, Gemma came running down the stairs. "Eamon, please, don't go. Let's talk about this. We can work through it." I stopped and looked at her, my eyes filled with pain and disappointment. "I don't think we can, Gemma. I don't think I can ever trust you again." And with that, I walked out of the house, leaving behind 15 years of memories and a life that had just been shattered into a million pieces. I ended up staying at a hotel downtown. I spent the next few days in a daze, unable to eat, sleep, or concentrate on anything. I called my best friend Finian and told him what had happened. He was shocked and supportive, offering to come and stay with me. "I don't know what to do, Finian," I said, my voice cracking with emotion. "I feel like my whole world has fallen apart." "I know, buddy, it's going to be tough, but you'll get through it. You're strong, Eamon. You'll figure it out. Finian came over that evening and we spent hours talking. He listened patiently as I poured out my heart, venting my anger, my sadness, and my confusion. He didn't offer any easy answers, but he provided a much-needed shoulder to cry on. The next few weeks were a blur of legal consultations, paperwork, and difficult conversations. Gemma and I agreed to separate, and the process of dividing our assets began. It was painful and messy, but I knew it was the only way forward. One evening, about a month after I had moved out, I received a phone call from an unknown number. I hesitated before answering it, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hello," I said. "Eamon, it's Corbin." My blood ran cold. "What do you want?" I demanded, my voice tight with anger. "I wanted to apologize," he said. "I know what I did was wrong. I never should have gotten involved with Gemma. An apology. That's all you have to say. You destroyed my marriage, and all you can offer is an apology. I know it's not enough, but I truly am sorry. I didn't realize how much you and Gemma meant to each other. She told me things weren't good between you two, but I see now that I was wrong. She lied to you, Corbin. She manipulated you. And you were stupid enough to fall for it. Maybe you're right, but that doesn't excuse my behavior. I just wanted you to know that I regret what happened. And I hope that one day you can find it in your heart to forgive me." I hung up the phone without saying another word. Forgive him. Maybe someday, but not now. Right now, all I felt was anger and resentment. As the divorce proceedings continued, I started to uncover more and more about Gemma's affair. It turned out that she had been seeing Corbin for several months, meeting him for secret trysts during her lunch breaks and after her gym sessions. She had been living a double life, lying to me and betraying my trust at every turn. I also discovered that Corbin wasn't just a personal trainer. He was also a bit of a con artist. He had a history of preying on vulnerable women, seducing them, and then taking advantage of them financially. He had even been fired from his previous job for stealing money from the gym's petty cash. I felt sick to my stomach. Gemma had not only cheated on me with a younger man, but she had also chosen to be with someone who was a complete scumbag. What did that say about her judgment? What did it say about our marriage? As I was grappling with these questions, I received another unexpected phone call. This time, it was from a woman named Isidora. "Eamon, I don't know if you know who I am, but I'm Corbin's wife." I was stunned into silence for a moment. "Corbin is married, yes," she said, her voice trembling with anger. "And I just found out about his affair with your wife. I am so sorry for what he did to you." "I'm sorry for what he did to you too, Isidora," I said, feeling a strange sense of camaraderie with this woman who had also been betrayed by Corbin. We talked for a long time that night, sharing our stories and our pain. Isidora told me that Corbin had a long history of infidelity and that she had been trying to leave him for years, but he always managed to manipulate her into staying. "He's a master manipulator, Eamon," she said. "He knows exactly what to say to make you feel sorry for him." "Don't fall for it." "I won't," I assured her. "I'm done with him and Gemma. I just want to move on with my life." As we talked, Isidora and I realized that we had a common goal: to expose Corbin for who he really was and to prevent him from hurting anyone else. We decided to work together. Isidora provided me with information about Corbin's past, including his history of theft and his previous affairs. I, in turn, shared what I knew about his relationship with Gemma. Together, we built a solid case against him. We took our evidence to the gym where Corbin worked and presented it to the owner. The owner was shocked and appalled, and he immediately fired Corbin. We also contacted the local authorities and filed a report about Corbin's fraudulent activities. Within a few weeks, Corbin's life had completely unraveled. He had lost his job, his wife had left him, and he was facing potential criminal charges. He had gone from being a smooth-talking charmer to a pariah, shunned by everyone he knew. As for Gemma, she was left to face the consequences of her actions. She had lost her husband, her home, and her reputation. She tried to contact me several times, begging for forgiveness, but I refused to speak to her. I couldn't forgive her, not after everything she had done. The divorce was finalized a few months later. I walked away with a portion of our assets, but more importantly, I walked away with my dignity intact. I was hurt and heartbroken, but I was also determined to rebuild my life and find happiness again. In the aftermath of the divorce, I focused on my work and my friendships. I started going to the gym regularly, not to see Corbin, but to take care of my physical and mental health. I reconnected with old friends and made some new ones. Slowly but surely, I started to heal. One day, about a year after the divorce, I received an email from Isidora. She was writing to tell me that she had moved to a new city and was starting a new life. She had found a new job, a new apartment, and a new sense of purpose. "I just wanted to thank you, Eamon," she wrote. "You helped me to see that I deserved better than Corbin. You gave me the strength to leave him and to start over. I will always be grateful to you for that." I smiled as I read her email. It felt good to know that I had made a positive impact on someone's life, even in the midst of my own personal turmoil. As for Gemma, I never heard from her again. I don't know what happened to her, and I don't really care. She made her choices, and she has to live with the consequences. I eventually started dating again, cautiously at first, but with a growing sense of optimism. I met a wonderful woman named Amari, who was kind, intelligent, and compassionate. We connected on a deep level, and I knew that she was someone special. Amari helped me to heal the wounds of the past and to open my heart to love again. With her, I found a happiness that I never thought was possible. We got married a few years later, in a small ceremony surrounded by our closest friends and family. Looking back on everything that happened with Gemma, I realized that it was a painful chapter in my life, but it was also a necessary one. It taught me valuable lessons about trust, betrayal, and the importance of self-respect. It also led me to Amari, who is the love of my life. I am grateful for the lessons I learned, and I am grateful for the new life that I have built. I am finally at peace, and I am truly happy. The rain has stopped, and the sun is shining once again. Sometimes the greatest betrayals lead us to the greatest blessings.